off top. In 1698, Russian Tsar Peter the Great decided to institute a beard tax. Play the music.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.
Welcome to the Domonique Foxworth Show. I'm joined as usual by Charlie with his little baby beard and the beard king himself, Spencer Hall. What's up, buddy?
In this house, we hate Peter the Great. We're not paying that.
I appreciate that you are revolutionary. No matter what time period you're in,
no,
we drop you right off.
Down with the czar, because I ain't paying it.
All right, we got a crazy good sports weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff to get to, which means that we cannot discuss all the things that we discussed in the pre-show. I will give you one little tease, though. Spencer and our relationship has devolved or evolved, I'm not sure what it is, into just sharing a bunch of TikToks. So I've asked Spencer he delivers me with some great TikToks every so often, and I've asked him to bring some to the end of the show today.
I have it. Listen, there's an expertise to it. We can explore very briefly. I'm here to help y'all enjoy the internet more. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I mean, you've never sent me a bad one, and they're always really funny, and it's the type of humor that I think translates all over the place. There's some other ones that I think are really funny, but I couldn't bring them to here. So I'll keep those in the group chat. But until then, let's start with Charlie. What was your favorite thing from this sneaky great sports weekend?
Just before we get there,
what?
At some point, I have deleted TikTok off my phone, but I will re-download it for this. At some point, we're going to need to go around the room as this TikTok bit expands and see if you just click search what your auto-populated search is.
Yeah, you know that's my move.
Mm-hmm.
I have cultivated my Instagram to a point where I love going around challenging people to show their For You page because I know that I have trained my For You page to believe that I am a saint. And you know what I don't want for you? I don't want none of them booties. You got to swipe multiple times before you get the booties on my For You page.
This is not true because we did this the TikTok and Domonique and I both had Cooking with Kaya pop up as like our top suggestions.
I said Instagram. I have not, because the way that Instagram works is I can be more controlled. TikTok throws something up on you and I don't swipe it fast enough. And they're like, you like that, don't you? I'm like, maybe.
You're only a man. There's only so much you can do.
Maybe I like a little bit, then I'll swipe it. Show me some more diss tracks or something, please, TikTok.
Sure.
All right. Well, I mean, I think the thing that we all thought was going to be our favorite thing from this weekend
this is our bit. Our bit for today is this is one of the sneaky great sports weekends of the year where we didn't think going into this, a random weekend in May that's not Cinco de Mayo with like a boxing fight and a million things going on was going to be incredible. But we got an NBA Game 7. We got more playoff basketball. We got WNBA starting. We had the Preakness, etc. So Domonique, you're going to go first on this. What's your favorite, your sneaky great sports weekend moment that stood out?
Well, I mean, my sneaky great thing, I feel like we have to start with,
we can start
with the Game 7 because my sneaky great was actually Caitlin Clark playing basketball. But we'll get to that. I think we have to start with the Game 7, even though it was a bit of a disappointment in Oklahoma City and Denver. They were hobbled. Denver was kind of not quite there, and for whatever reason, they tried to give Jokic some rest, which is insane. You can't rest Jokic at any point in that game, and they just got dominated. It wasn't very fun. It wasn't the big test that we wanted to see for Oklahoma City. It wasn't the valiant surge from a champion that we wanted to see from Jokic. It was kind of anticlimactic. Same thing with the Game 6 for the Knicks, which that actually was a fun game, despite the fact that it wasn't. It was a fun moment, despite the fact that the game.
7th Avenue was shut down.
Yeah,
Wendy was getting chased by Knicks fans.
Oh, that was so sad.
Listen, nothing is better. No, nothing is better than that Knicks game. Nothing. I am here from the internet. It's where I live. So I want you to note that the internet's favorite moment from this will be 100% the Knicks winning, because nothing is funnier than the Knicks being good. It's nothing but entertaining for the rest of the sports world. You know why? One, the most degenerate people in New York come out of the rafters and find a cell phone. That's it. They find a camera, they hit live, and they start screaming into it. All right. And there's been years where Philadelphia and their other peer cities, right, filled with I think brand repellent sports fans, right? Sports fans who are like, yeah, we're awful people. We'll eat a cat. We'll do whatever, right? Like these people have had years to set the standard. And now Knicks fans are like, you climb something, we'll climb something taller, right? You say something crazy on camera, we'll say something crazier. I love that. And I also love that Knicks fans really and truly can point and go, yeah, 25 years. We have a quarter century of misery, and like longer. If you want to entertain that, I would hear that claim as well. So that, to me, watching people pull Timothée Chalamet halfway out of a limo in order to hug him, but not eat him. I was sort of worried that they would pull him out and eat him just to absorb his power. They didn't do that. That's why. Okay. I know, big disappointment for Boston fans. No one cares. The Knicks victory is incredible.
I mean, the Knicks stuff has been really fun and enjoyable and kind of lovable. I'm not sure what it is about this team. I mean, I guess it's that they were kind of underdogs and that Jalen Brunson is so fun and overcoming so much. But it's rare that anything from New York can feel like it's for the people. And this team does feel like it's way more than that Boston team felt like. And obviously the injury was terrible, but they were beating that team with Tatum still. I mean, they were up by 9, right, when Tatum went out with just a couple minutes left. So there's no other group in the playoffs this year that I think could embody or could engage, I guess, the rest of us in the way that the Knicks have. And it's in part because the fans. Like, they were bing bong in a
huge
couple
part
years
of
ago.
it. Yeah. The fans are like, it's incredibly fun because it also, like, I mean, you saw this when the Warriors moved from Oakland to San Francisco. People are like, this is going to make the Chase Center feel like a husk. It's not going to be like Oracle. They're pricing people out. And obviously, Madison, I'm sure those tickets were ungodly expensive and stuff like that. But it's still like, this is a New Yorkers team. This is not like a transient thing. This feels like a regional sports team where they have been obsessed with it. And it's still like the basketball hub of the United States, and they have not been good. Like this is the biggest moment since the Larry Johnson 4-point play.
Yeah,
legitimately.
Yeah, I mean, and it's to your point. It's legitimately in the heart of the city.
Yeah,
it's like as soon as if you take the train in, you get off, you like pull in underneath the stadium. And anyone, I guess most people probably been in New York, seeing those streets the way they were. Like it's really cool, like championship level parade action, and it's like an unsanctioned parade, just people in the streets having a good time. It's pretty funny.
Can you imagine if they win?
I can't.
Yeah.
Like what New York City will be like if they win.
This is where we get to the core of the matter here. This is the only time when you get to root for New York, culturally, politically, whatever, as an underdog. That's it. When do you get to do that? Otherwise, we're talking about the Yankees. Please, right? The Jets don't exist.
The Mets.
Yeah, no, the Mets. No, we don't do that. But the Knicks. Yes, the Knicks. It feels good to root for this New York team, especially because even when you go, well, they got celebrities courtside like everyone else. Yeah, Tracy Morgan. Am I going to make my point? I am steering right toward that point, y'all. And it is this. What did Tracy Morgan do on the court earlier this year? He vomited on the court, puked right on it. And everyone was a little worried. We couldn't make jokes yet till we found out he was okay. And it turns out he was okay. Not only was he okay, but he blessed that court because have they lost a playoff series since Tracy Morgan puked on that court? No, they haven't. It's a real life 30 Rock plot line, and we get to watch it in real time.
It is very different from, because we think of LA as the other major superstar celebrity city, and they do have fans also that are connected to the team, but there's something different about Spike. Like these are guys and I mean even Timothée Chalamet, who's a big time celebrity. Mm-hmm. They come year round all the time. They are committed to it. It does not feel like a moment, like an opportunity to get some clout. Like they feel like legitimate fans choosing to do that over the Met Gala and other it kind of.
This is also the thing though, because yes, by the way, Lakers fans are incredible. They're not like soft California fans. They are through thick and thin, similar to Knicks fans. I know they've been better. I've been a lot better for the course of their franchise. But New York, East Coast, Northeast,
yeah, I think
they're the funniest people ever.
I think,
and it
feels like the fandom. Like when you say the Lakers, you go, well, that's a struggle they're all in together. Yeah. Correct. I think we can recognize that. Even Ben Stiller, a man with Hollywood money and decades of fame at this point, when he talks about the Knicks, I think everyone goes, oh, he's infected too. He's just as sick as the rest of us. And I think that's what makes Knicks fans endearing, that they're like, I would rather not do this, but something in my blood is wrong. So I have to root for the Knicks. And this is the year when that sickness turns into a blessing. And I'm all for it.
What about Cat? What about Cat's voice change? I mean, Cat, first we should say that Cat played very well so far in the playoffs, but he manages to do these things all the time that just seem incredibly.
Hold on. we can't hear this now, but we're playing in the clip so you can hear it, and we're coming out of the fact that he has just adopted a New York accent.
Yes.
Play the clip.
Saturdays at the Gauchos gym, Sundays at Rucker Park. To my Dominicans that's been supporting me, Washington Heights, all the Dominicans in New York.
And we're back. Yeah.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
What do you mean? You don't think Cat's from New York?
I mean, I know he's from New Jersey.
You know, he remembers playing at the Ruckers with his brothers?
With the Gauchos.
Oh man, I love Cat, man.
Something has flipped with Cat though, being on this team, where like even though his fake his ruggedness is very performative, I went from like rolling my eyes at him giving that article about Kevin Garnett where he claimed that he told Kevin Garnett it was okay to pass the torch because he said, quote unquote, "I know what I must do, brother." And at that time I was like, this is the biggest loser in the history of good basketball players. And now he's hilarious.
Gotta fake it till you make it. And eventually, like, the fake toughness eventually translated to the real toughness. He was physical as I've ever seen Cat.
He's the Brian Kelly of the NFL, by the way, with the voices.
Oh, nice. College football reference.
Yeah. I think you get to I think you get to do this. I mean, who doesn't get to move to another city and completely reinvent their persona? Let Cat do that. Let him get away with it. At least he's close. At least this isn't like watching someone from Texas do it. It's a bridge and tunnel thing.
Yeah, this team is fun though, and gritty, and all the things that you would expect from New York. Them embodying the characteristics that we think of when we think of like the true New Yorkers it's been pretty fun. I think, this next series is going to be fun too. I think most of us will continue to root for the Knicks rather than the Pacers, and it takes me back to the 90s when I remember Knicks and Pacers series, and those were a lot of fun.
It's so funny that you said it's going to be fun because I do think that's a huge part of the personality of the team, because the basketball in theory could be like very gross.
Eastern Conference basketball is back, baby. 72-68. Let's go.
I mean, as now that I think about it, it's going to piss Charlie off. Nico was right, man. Defense wins championships. Look around, look around, look around, look around, look around.
Oh, man.
I mean, OKC might be the best defense ever.
Yep, he's totally building OKC by getting an old and injured big and giving up his best assets.
I did say he made the right decision.
The real Sam Presti in asset management.
I just said he was right. We all laughed at him saying defense wins championships like it's the 1970s football.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, if you look at the best units available right now, it's OKC's defense. The best team available is clearly driven by how good they are on defense.
Whatever shuts the old heads up. That's all I want. Like if we get 66-62 between the Knicks and the Pacers, I don't want to hear a single complaint from anyone over 35. I don't. I want to hear them all saying the same old crap. Yeah, that's real ball. That's real ball. Throwing up enough bricks to build a house. That's sports.
How quickly, what game, if I'm to predict, does Benedict Mathurin lose his mind when Brunson flops into him?
Oh, gosh. Game one.
You think it's game one?
Game one.
Do you think he's getting the flagrant or tech in game one where he loses it?
Game one, yeah. I mean, because Brunson, I've grown to accept, not appreciate Brunson's flop, and I've grown to accept it.
He cut a lot of out.
Yeah, he did cut early. I mean, that Detroit series, Brunson was flippy flopping all over the place. He's cut a lot of it out. But yeah, you're right. He's gonna bring it back. He's gonna bring it back.
The perfect demeanor to do it. Doing it to Mathurin is like, it's like the kid in every single class. You know, there's like the one kid who's like always on the edge of flipping out, like elementary school. And Mathurin's just a 23-year-old who does that.
He's ready to go.
One thing on Oklahoma City, I'm going to full gas bag, but is there any part of you that thinks it would have been better if they had to actually pass a real test in Game 7, like with Gordon healthy and Porter Jr. healthy, like there's some like guile that you get that they didn't get from it being essentially a walkover?
No. What do you do? Like, what is the one storyline we've heard? Speaking from the gas bags, right, from the analytics people, has been this: that the NBA playoffs have turned into an endurance test. They've turned into a warranty check on everyone's parts, and essentially getting your best players through to the conference finals is a minor miracle at this point. Sans injury or without serious injuries to any of your critical supporting players. So I don't want to hear anything about, well, it would have been better if they'd had another test. Yeah, and it probably would have made more sense, like, you know, if you'd gone an extra mile. But sometimes you got to cut that 3-mile run to a 2-mile run and get away with it. All right, it's a long road. Why are you? Yeah. I don't buy that at all, because at this point I would go full Popovich. I am using whatever massive computers analytics I can to calculate the exact number of minutes I have to play in order to win, and cutting it there. This is a war of attrition.
Charlie is pretending like he's okay with everything you said, but I know deep down inside
he wants to scream.
Charlie believes that they would have been better off had they been not had they lost players, not had they lost the game, had they come through in clutch situations at some point in this playoffs, they'd be in a better situation.
Big distinction. I don't know if they'd be in a better situation, but I wanted to see it because like
you'd feel better about them.
Well, I personally wanted to see Jalen Williams, who had a terrible series, not just be able to front run in a game 7 and get his game going again. I want to see SGA and Jokic duel, because there was a situation brewing where, when Gordon was healthy, even with an injured Porter Jr., Jokic had sort of solved in certain ways the Oklahoma City defense and pushing it to 7 when they really could have won game 5 and finished in 6. I would have liked to see sort of the triumphant young team knock him off if they're going to. And I really like OKC. I think it might be the only person who we talk to on these shows. I'm like, oh, this team's fun. But I still would as a viewer, I just sort of feel like we were robbed from what could have been a really good game 7, just because Jokic is the best offensive postseason player in a decade. And that was sort of sapped by the fact that they're able to do that weird thing where they put Alex Caruso on him for stretches of this game and wreaked havoc. And he was hacking, and the refs were like, we're not going to call a foul on 6'5", 190-pound Alex Caruso guarding Jokic. But it could have been a fun chess match that we didn't get.
This is Charlie being like, hey, 26.2 miles. I'd love to see another one.
Yep.
Yeah, you run it. You get out there. I don't want to do it.
I got to be honest. I blamed it on Charlie, but I kind of feel the same way. Whereas this team has been great and they've been dominant. And it's similar to the Celtics last year, where you can win a championship that way, where you kind of never see them or you rarely see them with their back against the wall. And maybe they'll do it again and they won't ever have that situation. But the few times where you expected something special to happen, and we've been spoiled through the history of the league and recent history in particular, we've seen those guys have those moments, those players that you want to have big and that's another distinction. It's always a big offensive moment. We've seen those guys have big offensive moments in those big situations, big games when they had to. And I kind of expected to see it, and we haven't seen it yet, and I would feel better if I had seen it, but I think that Spencer's right. I'm just being a gas bag. They're beating. It's like saying that it's better to win by 3 than it is to win by 20, but I kind of feel like I believe that to be the case.
Does it matter when everyone's flying blind here? We're gonna end up with teams one of these teams has won a title. In the history of the franchises, and that's the Knicks. This is the rare instance where we can say, which organization really knows how to win of these 4. That's right. The New York Knicks.
That is hilarious. I hadn't even considered that.
It's crazy. I am excited to see Oklahoma City play Minnesota. Yeah. I know Minnesota's had some regular season success from them, but if we've learned anything from this postseason, it's that none of the regular season games are applicable at whatsoever. And Oklahoma City is built to throw 38 different demons at Anthony Edwards. I've become more and more infatuated with the fact that Cason Wallace has become a better playoff player in certain ways than Jalen Williams, and seeing that lunatic 21-year-old, Anthony Edwards is going to think he's the best player on the court.
Yeah.
Cason Wallace is also going to think he's the best player on the court when he's guarding him.
Yeah, not that anybody is.
He's their 8th man.
Yeah, not that anyone is the same athlete as Anthony Edwards, but they got enough to throw at him to give him hell. It's I was gonna say it's one of the worst possible matchups for Anthony Edwards, but honestly, OKC defensively is the worst possible matchup for everybody. They proved to even slow Jokic down in certain important moments. So yeah, that this is an opportunity for Anthony Edwards to do the things that we've all been pretending he's already done.
Yeah,
that includes Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, that's
This could be the Julius Randle series. Are you ready for Julius Randle hoisting the Magic Johnson Trophy as Western Conference Playoffs MVP? That's on the table.
Oh man. All right. Can we get to the W?
Yeah.
All right. So I set my alarm clock so I could make sure to watch. I mean, I didn't set my alarm clock, but I did set a timer to make sure I was awake and conscious and sitting down to watch Caitlin Clark.
3 p.m. game.
I know. I set alarm clock and then I was stuck with the time thing. And then I said timer. I didn't mean that either. I just set a reminder in my phone. It's like, make sure you're available to watch this particular game. Thanks, teammate. Love when you call me out.
Are you a big napper? 3 children.
Yeah, I don't know. I got caught up in air. It was a bad jump pass by me. Anyway, I watched Caitlin Clark, and before we get to, I guess we're calling it the controversial part of this game, she's so damn good. Watching her play is really fun, and watching her create offense and being able to like see the way that she thinks through the defense and then hit sticker threes. Like, she's an incredible player. She's fun to watch, and that was one of the most like surprisingly exciting things from this really cool sports weekend for me.
I really enjoy that. Before we get to the controversial part, I'm just going to steer right into it. That somebody did exactly what you should do after hitting the weights all off season. Should bow up a little bit, you know. You should. That's why you do it, right? Like, sun's out, guns out. I appreciate that on Caitlin Clark's part. That she's like, I can play basketball, but have you seen me flex?
And she was flexing, and so I mean, I guess the flagrant foul. So Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese grabbed the rebound after pushing one of the Fever players in the back and grabbed the rebound. That could have been called a foul. It wasn't called a foul. Caitlin Clark intentionally fouled her in order
to grabbed her on the arms. Yeah, in
order to keep her from making the wide open shot and shoot the free throws. I think she did give her a little extra with the left hand, gave her a little push. I have no problem with them calling that a flagrant foul. But everything that happened after that, to me, I guess because they have some history and because they are who they are, it became a big thing. But I, in the moment, was like, this feels like nothing.
It was an incredibly soft flagrant foul that I was probably not a flagrant foul. With that said, it was the best thing possible for Caitlin Clark that the league did elevate it to a flagrant foul so that she didn't have the entire 24-hour take cycle of it being preferential treatment and her being refereed differently because she's smaller. So like, it was the best case scenario. Gotta say, a little soft on Angel Reese falling down there. You kind of got to eat the little left hand shove there.
Oh yeah, I mean she threw her arms up and drew the call.
I know. I support this. That's part of it. That's a soccer move, right? There's a word for that. Can you bleep stuff here? Housery. Angel Reese, is known to engage in a little housery. I love a player who engages in that.
Anyway, that was the point of that game to me. Like, it was a reminder. And I think the future of the Fever for this season, like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm in deep on the roster construction of each of the WNBA teams, but this team looks better. Caitlin Clark looks bigger, stronger, and better. And as I did last year, watched a good number of Fever games. I feel like I'm going to watch a number of them this year and be rooting for it. Like, they're so fun to watch. And Aaliyah Boston seems to extended her range, and that team just looks like really good and entertaining to watch. I know they're not nearly as good as the Aces or the Liberty, but they're fun.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They might be. I mean, Caitlin Clark, by the end of last year, is one of the best players in the world already.
So good.
This is like, first of all, this could actually propel the WNBA product significantly if this team's a real contender to win a title, like, immediately. And I actually think it's one of the cooler things about the league, about organic builds, that if you draft someone like this in the WNBA, you can actually turn it around incredibly quickly, and not to do the full thing where you just immediately compare it to other sports. But it did make me think of, and Cooper Flagg is not Caitlin Clark. He's not a 4-year college player. He's not the best prospect in the history of the sport, even though he's very good. But it is kind of cool that seeing the Caitlin Clark experience of putting good players around her and seeing that how rare that is in basketball. What we are used to watching in basketball is we watch guys struggle for 5 to 7 years as they build a team around this generational prospect, and then it becomes a huge tension point of the money running out and if the person should leave or not. Seeing Caitlin Clark be able to turn it around in a year and them to build a roster around it did make me think a tiny bit about the Mavs that Cooper Flagg to play with Anthony Davis in this finished roster. Like, is a lot cooler than I gave it credit for last week.
This is, by the way, for the college fan, this is also an example of my favorite thing, which is, oh man, it'd be so cool if that person from that awesome team and that person from that awesome team were on the same team. We get to see that all the time, right? Like Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark. You're like, it'd be really cool if these two great college players. Look at that. They're on the same team doing the inside-outside thing. It's awesome.
Shout out to our hometown Mystics, 2-0, best team in the league right now, baby.
It's the Sticks.
Let's go Sticks.
Spencer, do you have a favorite thing from this sort of delightful sports weekend?
So I'm going to share something that is not on our doc. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm not, but I will say this.
Curveball.
All right. For a while, if you don't know, the most famous race driver in the world is Lewis Hamilton. He moved to Ferrari. Okay. And everyone thought he's going to bring the A game. He's going to up their game. He's going to get Ferrari because Ferrari had been famously dysfunctional, right? Literally the Italian sports car, when you go all the performance in the world and they mess up the cup holders, right? Like they just get some detail wrong, right? But Lewis is going to fix that. Folks, Lewis has not fixed that. Ferrari's still a mess in F1. It's great. It's the best running gag. And he's been the emotional one. But there's another driver, Charles Leclerc. And Charles Leclerc is the Sisyphus of F1. He is the one who has to climb the hill and the boulder. Like he almost gets it to the top and then it shatters. And then we watch him be sad and almost French. He's Monegasque, but let's just pretend he's French. Anyway, this weekend, it was great because Charles had been real patient and we'd been waiting on him to sound like sad boy, eternally tortured Charles. And at the end of the race, Ferrari messed something up and he's like, he had to give a spot back. He's like, why do we do any of this? Why does this happen? Oh, God, this is absolutely terrible. Why do I come to work? And I was like, we're back, baby. We're back. Yes. Yes. So there you go. There's your Formula 1 minute. I got my favorite tortured driver sounded really tortured.
I appreciate it. I had a racing moment this weekend also that I really enjoyed. And the last couple years, I've gone to the Preakness because like you could watch the Preakness and also there's a good performance afterwards. This year I didn't go. And this is the best year to have gone because journalism won.
I texted you about this. I was like, this is the greatest jockeying I've ever seen.
Because you are a jockey expert. But yeah, anyway, explain
have
what you
seen
thought.
better jockeying?
I have not seen better
All right,
jockeying.
so journalism was the co-favorite in the Kentucky Derby, lost to Sovereignty at the end and was the big favorite coming to this race. And so I got boxed out. And coming around the final stretch, it's boxed out by another horse, and we see the horse sort of muscle up and bump the other horse out of the way, and the jockey's elbowing out of the way, and it's like a mad sprint to make up 5 lengths on the final stretch, and this best horse won. And like, I can't remember a more dramatic horse race. I also can't remember thinking a jockey ever mattered in a horse race. And like, you can be a complete no one and be like, wow, that jockey's sick.
That's it. Listen, they're basically like built out of barbed wire. They're all like 120 pounds and they all fall off horses regularly as part of their job. Like that doesn't even faze them. Also, when you see the riding crop, for the first 75% of the race, it's for the horse. And for the last 25% of the race, anyone can get it. That riding crop's just going in any direction. And if there's somebody next to him who might happen to need some persuasion, they're going to give it to him. Jockey is like low-key one of the craziest jobs in sports. It's nuts.
I appreciate Pimlico and jockeys in large part because my first experience with Pimlico was when my grandma took me there when I was 8 and I won $11 because she let me bet on some horses. All right, there was tennis this weekend.
Oh, you want me to do mine?
I mean, I know. Well, it's ours. Can we share them?
Sure.
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right. So, Rome final, Carlos Alcaraz actually sort of demolished in the second set, Yannick Sinner on Sinner's home court in Rome in his first tournament back from a 90-day steroid suspension. Here's some stats about this. I mean, so Alcaraz is currently the best clay player. Sinner is the best player in the world and had reached a level 2 days ago where he beat Casper Ruud, a top 10 player, 6-0, 6-1 in a little over an hour. And people were like, oh my God, this guy's the Terminator. He has been so defiant about his steroid suspension, being like, the players weren't nice enough to me when I was suspended. Not enough people reached out to see if I was doing well. Carlos Alcaraz is the only player to have beaten Yannick Sinner since July 9th of last year. Since the start of 2024, Sinner is 85-3 against the rest of the tour and 0-4 against Alcaraz. He's on a 41 match winning streak against the rest of the tour. He had won 24 consecutive sets against top 10 players going into that match. And the craziest thing, this is nuts, is at 22, Alcaraz has completed clay court tennis. He has won every single big title imaginable on a clay court, and he is still he's like the one puzzle that this ginger Italian Terminator cannot solve.
My favorite part is just watching Alcaraz play. So all the numbers that you just rolled out are all very impressive. Not any of them stands up to just watching him volley and be one of the best athletes in the world, particularly on clay, sliding around, getting to every ball, making volleys going much longer than any player expects them to. Like that. That's what's made me an Alcaraz fan. I'm not a tennis guy like Charlie to the degree that he grew up playing and he loves it and he watches no matter what. But I like explosive athletes. And Carlos Alcaraz could play tailback in the NFL if he was born in Mississippi.
That's also sicko tennis, right? Yeah, there's tennis, but like clay court tennis, yeah, that's real pervert tennis in terms of like fandom.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got distracted. I'm just watching on my computer, watching him slide around and make Yannick chase all these balls.
It's the craziest thing. It's like it is one of the sickest, to Spencer's point, one of the sicko things is like you see guys who like they know how to move on a hard court, and then you think that you're gonna get like a little bit less. Everyone's gonna have some diminished movement on clay. Everyone except for Alcaraz.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's something, the fact that he is more comfortable moving on the slippery surfaces on clay and grass than he is on fast hard courts in a way that doesn't really make sense. His movement has like been built by just being able to like be lower and slide better and have better footwork than anyone else. Like he genuinely looks as athletic as like the top flight NFL DBs.
No,
you know, I'm a sucker for those type of things. Like, I get out of here with your awareness. Get out of here with your smart, crafty play. Beat it with all that foolishness. I don't care about your housery. Be explosive. Yeah. Just slide around. Jump high. Run through something. Like
this is the meme where on the right side of the train, Domonique Foxworth is looking out the window, smiling in the "that boy nice" school of watching athletes, right? Where Charlie's over on the left being the like analytics numbers guy, sickos guy.
Oh gosh, I love it so much. I want to throw this computer and all the spreadsheets in it against the wall and just watch Alcaraz explode all over the court.
It's 110 mile an hour forehands. Doesn't make sense.
And then the best part is when you watch the volleys, you watch them over again. You watch Alcaraz 3 times in a row. Then you watch Yannick center and watch the exasperation in his returns. They get progressively more aggressive and progressively angrier. And it's just watching him get frustrated. Like, I can't hit it anywhere. Where Alcaraz doesn't give up on any shot. He's everywhere. And I love it.
And I actually think that like that is the tact. For the record, it's like center hits the ball bigger than anyone in the world. This is a crazy athlete. I know he looks like you would think of him because he's like sort of this piece.
No, he's a great athlete.
But he looks like a sickly Victorian child. And it's like the meme
like
online about him.
Yeah.
But he was the best skier in Europe before he committed to tennis full time. He is 6'5" and runs like that and like has a cannon of a like seeing the level that tennis has got to. And this is, I think, pretty rare in sports, which is cool. It's like you assume after you lose a Federer and Nadal, Djokovic is still top 10 in the world, but you lose that big 3 rivalry that there's going to be a dip. And then like, yes, these guys are not Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, but this is like from another planet how hard these 2 guys hit the ball. They hit the ball bigger than anyone has ever hit a tennis ball, and there are 2 of them.
So he had to choose between being a famous and fabulously wealthy skier of world renown or a fabulously wealthy tennis player. Sports Writer Challenge level 5,000. Create a sympathetic portrait of this man. That's what I want. I want somebody to be like, there's been real hardship in his life, and say it with a straight face.
Nope, he's the villain, and that's why I got Alcaraz is coming for him.
Not in his mind.
He's had the steroids and everything. Yes, he's perfectly cast in this movie as the villain.
His excuse was that his feet are particularly prone to blisters, and he was getting his feet massaged by his trainer who accidentally used the steroid on his own hand.
Yes, I remember when we did that episode and we went down the list of all the other ridiculous excuses that people had.
My feet are so he got a blister in this tournament, and I genuinely think he took his shoe off on the court,
showed him
just so the camera could zoom in and be like, see, I am too prone to blisters.
I mean, since we're in the that boy nice category right now, I feel like there's another very special moment that Charlie texted me about this weekend when Travis Hunter clips made their way to the internet.
Oh yeah, this is from like the rookie. I think it's like the trading card thing where they all put on their uniforms. There are 2 things that are amazing. There's a clip of Travis Hunter. I think he's like 35 yards away doing the quarterback drill where they literally throw a football into a bucket, and he looks like he has better throwing mechanics than the guys drafted to play quarterback in the NFL draft, which stunned me.
I didn't know why you were surprised by that.
Because no one but quarterbacks really look like quarterbacks.
I mean, have you ever heard of this guy named Travis Hunter?
Mm-hmm.
He's good at everything.
It made me think he's going to be better at football. Seeing him do something that he will maybe do like 3 times in his career and end around, throw the ball. Like seeing him do that, I was like, oh, you're actually a better athlete than anyone in the NFL. And you have better hand-eye coordination too.
So we're just going to take futures on like Travis Hunter 2031 US Open champion, right? Like he's just going to pick up golf, or he's just going to join the bobsled team after he finishes, and suddenly we're the greatest bobsled team in the world because like he's just a physical genius no matter what he's doing, right? Is that where we're at?
That's the word. It's physical genius. It's the word that I think is why I'm not surprised, and why I'm surprised that Charlie's surprised, because Charlie talks about this all the time. And it's the way that his brain can tell his body to do things that all of us try to tell our body to do things. And like, I'm familiar with this where I'll bring up like my rookie year across from Champ Bailey, where it's like, yeah, I know that I should disconnect my hips from my torso and move my hands and my feet in a awkward manner and use them differently, but I can't because my brain can't do that. Yours can. And Travis Hunter, I imagine that if you show him someone doing something, it takes him no time. He's probably a great dancer. He's probably a great golfer. And if he's not, just give him 3 weeks to watch someone else do it. And he's been around football long enough. So that's why I'm surprised that you're surprised that this guy, who may be the best athlete we've had in college football since, I don't know, Charles Woodson.
I was going to say Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, one of those guys.
You have to dust off all the old Randy stories.
So this is the reason this surprised me is because, okay, like I know I would have been shocked if he couldn't throw a spiral or if he didn't have a cannon. Like I get that. Like you see videos, like you remember the like Odell Beckham throwing out a first pitch and he threw it like 86 miles an hour. He can kick field goals from forever. He has like a look, but he still threw like someone who like just had a like crazy arm, like crazy live arm. Or you see Marcus Spears, we know he's a great basketball player. He's like, retired now, but he's throwing a football 60 yards in a suit last year, but he did not look like a quarterback. Travis Hunter was the like, oh, I've seen Shedeur Sanders throwing mechanics. How about I have better shoulder and hip separation and a smoother, like more whip of an arm, all while wearing shoulder pads? How many times? I mean, maybe when he's warming up, he throws with shoulder pads, but I'm sure the vast majority of his life, he's just like around throwing a football with his friends.
I don't know.
And he's still that good at doing it. Yeah.
And the most impressive part of this, Spence, I posed this question to Domonique. I'm going to make you rack your brain on the spot. He made a Jacksonville Jaguars jersey look cool. Can you think of another player in the Jaguars' storied history who put on that uniform and you're like, that guy looks sick in the uniform?
Fred Taylor.
There it is. Boom.
That's exactly what Dominique said.
It's very obvious. Fred Taylor looked great in everything. The Florida stuff and the Jacksonville. Yeah, Fred Taylor looked phenomenal. I agree.
Fred,
it's a tough to pull off. But
Fred. Listen, Fred has been saddled with two of, I think Florida has a beautiful uniform, but I'll admit, blue and orange is a hard sell in terms of clashing. Fred accessorized. That is it. Fred had the tape. He was like taped up to his shins. He had the visor. Like he was like heavy in the visor age of running backs, right? The like Technicolor visor, right? The polarized. Oh yeah. It's absolutely sick. Like he had the armbands were on point, like shoes done. Like Fred never came out looking anything but absolutely geared for battle. Like he looked fantastic. So Fred Taylor is to me the dude who made the Jacksonville Jags jersey look best.
Why did the Jags? They've been in the league long enough that their jerseys should look like they belong, but they still look like like an arena team. Like they still kind of look like a USFL team is having to be in the NFL. I don't know what it is. If it's the colors, Fred clearly looked cooler in the Florida stuff because I think he stopped wearing the visor when he got to the league.
You can't wear the reflective one. Yeah,
they were finding people for it, but he still made it look cool. But still, in that, he looked like the best player in the USFL because those uniforms just look, I don't know what it is about them that they just don't look classic enough or something. I don't know.
Fred Taylor, I kind of like, he's one of my like first football crushes. I kind of think that like if his body had been like a little bit more sturdy, he like might have been one of the 5 best running backs of all time. Like I actually think that he was unbelievable on a dog water franchise. And it was like, oh, the threat of David Garrard is going to really keep him from stacking the box.
Yeah. And he had a year where he was done and still managed to come back and be really productive after that. So even with the odds stacked against him, he had his renaissance career-wise at a position where not a lot of people get those.
Well, we have like an entire new genre of being like running back is completely situationally dependent. Starting around the time that Fred Taylor was in the league, and Fred Taylor was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'll just rush for 12,000 yards anyway."
We got a bunch of other stuff on here that I want to get to, so I'm sorry to push this off to Fred Taylor stuff.
It's okay,
but like we got some NFL money, and I love when guys get paid. So like I think those are the things that we want to get to. You want to do Ravens and Henry or Purdy and the 49ers?
Well, let's start with the Purdy one. This is Brock Purdy got $265 million, $53 million annually to be the quarterback of the present and future for the 49ers. This is Mr. Irrelevant, who is now going to make more per game than he made in his entire rookie contract.
Excuse me. I had to clear my throat because I would like to make it very clear that anyone who is suggesting that it is a mistake to pay Brock Purdy need to shut they dumb mouths, because I don't care. I don't want to get into your cap management or how this is going to inhibit the team going forward. Let's be completely clear. This organization wrapped up everything they had of value and traded it for a quarterback that was not good. Brock Purdy saved everybody's damn jobs, all of them. So anyone who is up here talking about, oh, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, they are put us in a tough situation, paying too much for a good quarterback. He's not great to put it. No, I don't give a hoot. Because I think we've cussed enough times to make somebody have to bleep it later. It's just a hoot. This man, and we can argue about how good he is, but we also recognize that this is how quarterback market works. And if this is how the quarterback market works, the idea that we're going to stop and change the quarterback market now on a guy who has been playing not only under like market value, like I feel like he has a lawsuit for the amount of production that he's produced under Mr. Irrelevant's contract. So maybe I've gone too far, and maybe Charlie would like to explore, or Spencer, you like to explore the idea of delegating or using your cap in a different way going forward. And I recognize that once you pay the quarterback, the responsibility is now on the front office to find talent elsewhere. But none of that, and I'm fine with having that conversation with first-round quarterbacks when they get to the point where they need to get paid, or any other quarterback. But I don't want to hear anything about paying Brock Purdy. It just sounds stupid to me. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think that would have been stupid if you had not watched Brock Purdy play football at all since he came into the league, right? There's a lot of people who I feel like might be upset about this, who need to stop watching wallets for other people. That's it. Because even if he's wrong, which I don't think they are, I think a quarterback is the car you take to work. You make sure that it works. You're like, could you have a nicer car? And you're like, this is the one I have, and I have to get to my job. That's the way you need to think about a quarterback in the NFL, right? Like we pay quarterbacks who aren't great all the time. You know why? Because they run and the AC works 200 days out of the year. Okay, that's why, and that's pretty rare. So if that's what you want to give to Brock Purdy, go right ahead. But even if you are the kind of person who's like, I don't know, maybe they made a mistake, stop it. Stop it. This is someone whose career could end overnight getting like a lot of guaranteed money. I'm more than happy with it because I know where he came from as a college watcher. That man worked his off in Ames, Iowa. Okay. Got annihilated game after game out of Ames, Iowa, which kind of perversely gets me around to my point of he's been good everywhere he's been. He's never been so good that you never doubted a little bit of it, but he's been good to great everywhere that he has been. That includes the San Francisco 49ers. Again, you could get a new car. This one runs, and I got to get to work. Brock Purdy, reliable performance at a reasonable rate. Gabbled.
what I kind of think is the most interesting about this.
He said gavel though.
Oh, I can't.
But no,
I
you
wanna go
open up and
Shanahan.
listen. You can appeal. You can appeal.
No. I think Purdy's good. I just think he's pretty good. I think the Shanahan psychology on this, I think, is the most interesting part about it moving forward, which is that Shanahan has like built this whole thing where he's like, I actually don't really care about the quarterback more than I just want him to actually take my brain and put it on a football field, just like he wants like running backs that do the things he wants them to do more than the physically talented ones. Like he wants everything to be a reflection of his thought process.
Mm-hmm.
How much does the roster in his ability to Shanahan-size everything with all of his chosen pieces change when you allocate this much of the cap to Brock Purdy?
Well, I mean, I think we have to give them some credit because they've been able to produce offense for a long time in a bunch of different ways.
His stats are better than everyone's. Like his advanced analytics are better than everyone's in the system.
I'm not just talking about Purdy.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
all of it.
Yeah, all of it in Shanahan. And I think part of it is because rather than selecting what he believes to be or what anyone believes to be the best player all the time, is like I think they select for traits and things that you can do. And it allows, if you select for things that someone can do and you only ask them to do a small range of those things, it's really, to your point, it's about putting his brain on the field, which I think is also why there is some limitations, why they will never be like utterly terrible, but sometimes you can't do exactly what you want to do. And that's when the special players can elevate and make things different. And that's where I think some arguments against some of the players that they've had, and even arguments against Purdy, could be made, but is that he doesn't have that ability to just, even though he's willing to take risk, he doesn't have that physical ability that we have of these great quarterbacks that, like, it don't matter what you call sometimes with Josh Allen. It don't matter what you call sometimes with Lamar or Joe Burrow. And like those guys have something about them that can just make special plays happen. And I think that speaks to how they're able to manufacture offense routinely, is because they're not looking for always the best players. They're looking for guys who are really good at something.
I just think it's fascinating that before he could like pay above market rate for the lobster, being like, I want the thing that gives me the most Shanahan, and now he's going to have to fish for his own Shanahan traits, which I think is it will be an interesting next evolution of him as this, like, you know, figurehead in San Francisco.
You reminded me of something that my dad said a long time ago that has always stuck with me, Spencer, is to your point about, I think it was the car analogy. My dad is a very frugal man, as many dads are. And he would complain about the prices of anything and try to find a deal all the time and wear old shirts. Like, it still worked, don't it? But the one thing that he said he would never complain about is gas prices. It's like, I don't complain about gas prices. It don't matter what they cost. I got to pay the damn. And that's how I feel. That's how I feel when we're talking about quarterbacks. Like, it just kind of feels dumb. Complaining about quarterback prices to me is like, oh, so you're not going to have a quarterback? Okay, then shut up. Sign the check.
Sign the check, because that's the check that gets you another check.
Exactly. Speaking of sign the check, Derrick Henry got him a big check.
Yeah. I want to ask you about this because the Ravens made him the highest paid over 30 running back in NFL history. He got $25 million guaranteed. He's not the highest paid running back in the NFL. He's the third highest after Saquon and Jonathan Taylor. But what I was interested in is the Ravens didn't need to do this now. They could have just played out this contract where he's getting $8 million this season and then figured it out in the offseason. But it seems like the Ravens are better than any team about just assessing what the value is, how not to cause controversy, how to just get your guys happy and on a deal that's both team friendly and good for them. Are you surprised, though, that they extended an older running back when they didn't have to?
Not at all, really.
Yeah.
It's because, like, you saw what was happening around him in the market, and also extending him, and I know you're saying it's the highest ever. It still ain't that much.
No. And it's not as high as the highest in the league, just for his age, because he's a totally unique freak.
We're assuming that he's going to come back and be at least as productive, or
5.9 yards per carry last year.
Right, or even a little less productive, which means that they are gambling on the season after. Like, this seems to me to be an obvious smart decision to make to avoid any controversy, because I'm sure that it was in the air that something would have to happen if you don't pay him. Like, it makes obvious sense to me. It doesn't seem like as big of a deal, particularly since he's proven he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Also, this is money that you're paying as insurance for Lamar Jackson. That's it. Yeah. This is essentially a policy to take hits and carries off of the back of your franchise player and give him more opportunities downfield and protect him. Yeah, this is, if you look at this only as a purchase, as an accessory purchase for your franchise guy, it still makes sense.
This is a reminder that absolutes are for children and idiots.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the absolutes about running backs. Like, I get the logic behind it, but sometimes there's a situation where you got to break the absolutes.
Derrick Henry is break every single year. Like, I love fantasy football. Every single year, he's ends up being like the 7th running back taken, and people are like, this is the year. It's impossible for him to be this good again. Yeah. I mean, Spencer, do you remember when he got drafted? There was the talk that he had taken too many carries at Alabama, and that was part of the reason he was a 2nd-round pick. He has like 11,000 yards since then.
Yeah. Like it's him and Frank Gore's knee ligaments, most durable characters in running back history, who we continually say the tires are going to fall off, and it hasn't happened yet. And if you were going to make this gamble with anyone, it would be him. Like, because he still passes the eye test past 30. You just look at him and go, yeah, I don't want to do that. No one wants to do that. No one wants any part of that. If his production falls by 15%, he's still averaging 5 yards a carry, something like that. That's stupid. I'll bet on that decline. I take that.
And it's a cheap bet.
Yeah, it's a cheap bet.
The commitment isn't that much. So,
just like, I'm always floored. Like, I know the Ravens part of this too, and like something I think is interesting is like they probably do realize now that this is their like the next 2 years are the end of their first window with Lamar, where the Ronnie Stanley, who they got on a really good deal, the Derrick Henry, some of the pieces, the Mark Andrews, some of those pieces are going to age out, and they're going to go through, like, it's not going to be a rebuild because they're the best run team, but it's just going to be some turnover. Mm-hmm. They're just so much better than other teams at managing the situation. So this is all going smoothly. All the players are happy. They have drafted really well and putting guys in spots that are going to be like really good long term. Like they made their secondary better in the draft. Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton are a perfect fit. And now you're keeping your veterans healthy as you're turning over this roster over the 2 years.
You love it all now, but you're going to complain about it when people start picking the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. You're going to get mad.
No. I'm going to get mad when it's like, it's going to be like
it's an annual tradition for Charlie as he raves about how impressive the Ravens are and then gets annoyed when everyone else says the Ravens are really impressive.
It's going to be week 9 and I don't name whatever quarterback. It'll be like Brock Purdy we just talked about. It's just thrown for 400 yards and 6 touchdowns. And then Lamar Jackson will do one thing and Domonique is going to be like, MVP. You got to give it to him. No one's as valuable. No matter what, give him the MVP.
All right. Well, let me know when I say it and it's not true. When I say it and it's not true, you holler at me. Anyway, do we got time for Spencer's TikToks?
Yeah,
we got time.
Yes.
Okay. Spencer, which one of the TikToks you want to deliver to us that is safe for our Disney heirs?
I think we can go ahead and go. I chose 2, but can we go ahead and do the I'm not going to drink that much around the world? Let's do that one.
Ni hao, we are in China.
So it's a guy at the Around the World thing at Disney saying that he's not going to drink that much. And then they cut from that to him later today climbing, what is that, a Mayan temple?
That is the pyramid of the either the Mayans or the Aztecs. I'm not sure which one. All you need to know is in the Mexico Pavilion and you ain't supposed to be on it. Yeah. Climb it. Why'd they put stairs there if they didn't want me to climb it?
Clearly, my guy drank more than he said he was going to drink.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This might be a Two Americas question.
Uh-oh.
Because is it multicultural that there are drunk climbers? Because there's a white guy in every group that loves to climb shit when they get drunk.
I mean, my cursory research is I don't know any climbers. Like in all my friends and all of my history of them getting
feels like
drunk,
a white guy thing.
Yeah, them getting drunk. When they get drunk, they don't climb.
I got this cousin, George, from Wisconsin, who is a drunk climber. And we were out in Pittsburgh when I was 21. And he ended up on the roof of the Apple store. And we were like, get down, George. Get off the roof of the Apple store.
I think Charlie's correct. I think that just may be a cultural difference that after 3 drinks, the top of the local big box retailer calls. Yeah.
You just got to get some altitude. You have enough to drink. You just got to get the freshest airs up there, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, yeah. Why do you think mountaineering was all of these like British nobles from like the 19th century who were like, you know what? I've had a few. Why don't we try that big one over there?
I'm trying to think of all the categories of drunks. It's like there's the angry drunk who's always trying to fight.
Mm-hmm.
There's the flirty drunks like that. There's the sloppy fall around drunks. I'm trying to think of my crew. There's the overly affectionate with your friends drunk. It's like, oh yeah, like I know all those guys. I can think of who they are. There's not one person in the history of my life that I know to be a drunk climber.
There's always one.
You guys all got Georges in your crew.
I had a friend who just kept being like, I got to get vertical. In college. He's like, I got to get vert.
Where did he climb? Did he get hired in George?
Yeah, he did. In Nashville, there's a statue on Demumbrian Street, like one of the bar streets. It's like a 25-foot tall statue. And he's sitting in John
the one in the circle?
Yes.
Oh.
He's on the top of it, and the cop's at the bottom being like, get down, you're not a cat. Get down from there.
Charlie.
He wasn't saying that. He was saying this. Get down! You ain't a cat!
Well done. Charlie couldn't deliver the proper Nashville accent. All right, well, I learned something new today. Off top, drunk whites like to climb.
Always one.
Thank you, Spencer, so much for joining us for such a delightful episode, Charlie. Appreciate you throwing your friends and family under the bus for my amusement. Thanks to all the great producers. Paulville, I love you. We out.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.